HTTP messages have three main components. Every HTTP request contains some action such as get, post, put, or delete. Upon receipt, the server processes this request and returns a response. These HTTP messages also contain headers. Headers carry metadata about the device from which they are originated. Client request headers may contain browser details, while the server response headers may reveal the web server's version. Headers can also carry details about authentication or payload formatting. Last, the message body is an optional component that immediately follows the headers. Suppose you are uploading data to a server. That data would be included in the body. This data can be formatted in a variety of ways, such as JSON or XML, just to name a few. I want to briefly expand on the 5 common actions pertaining to REST APIs. The exact implementation of these actions will vary, but the general behavior is similar. An HTTP GET is effectively a download operation pulling down a resource. This operation is typically read-only and is used to collect information. The HTTP POST creates new content, such as adding a new resource. As such, running the same POST operation in succession often leads to an error. Some APIs will create a duplicate resource with a different ID. In either case, this isn't desirable behavior. There are 2 ways to modify existing resources. The HTTP PUT is used to replace an existing resource in its entirety, such as replacing an existing device with an entirely new configuration. The PUT operation can be safely executed over and over, unlike POST. You can also use HTTP patch, something I seldom use personally, to update part of a resource. Not all REST APIs support it. The HTTP delete removes an existing resource. Similar to a POST message, you can't logically delete the same resource twice. Some APIs may ignore subsequent deletes, while others will signal an error. Beyond REST APIs, HTTP supports many other operations such as head, trace, connect, and options. We won't dig into those, but it's good to be aware that they exist. I want to briefly explain what a webhook is. A webhook is a way for one app to send an event-based notification to another app using HTTP. We won't implement this, but imagine that one of GlobalMantic's business customers, Wired Brain Coffee Company, has an accounting system that it uses to track its revenues and expenses. Ideally, this system should show how much money Wired Brain Coffee owes GlobalMantic at any time. Having the tool continuously poll the GlobalMantic's CRM server is a waste of resources. Also, the accuracy of the data is dependent upon the frequency of the poll. Instead, the GlobalMantic app could send a webhook, typically an HTTP POST, to the Wired Brain accounting app to provide real-time updates whenever their balance changes. If Wired Brain made a $15 payment, their balance is reduced to $25, and the CRM app can report that. This webhook is sometimes called a reverse API or web callback. No matter the operation, HTTP responses always contain status codes. Let's quickly step through some of HTTP's more common status codes. The 100 series messages are informational messages. For example, the code 100 is an interim response which encourages the client to continue. The 200 series messages indicate success. The most common is 200, meaning OK, but 201 could be sent in response to a post indicating new content was created. 202 might come in response to an asynchronous post and contain a job ID in the body. The 300 series messages indicate redirection. 301 means a resource was permanently moved and often contains the updated URL. Alternatively, 302 indicates a temporary move. We've all seen these 400 series messages in our browsers at some point, which indicate client errors. This could be due to failed authentication, trying to access something for which we don't have permissions, or a missing resource. Last, the 500 series messages represent server-side errors. An internal error could mean a coding bug, or perhaps we made a POST request when the server doesn't implement that request type.